All right, you guys, so we are actually in episode 4 for Spooky Set series, and we are on week 2 of this Spotlight collab. And for the Spotlight collab this week, it was my group that chose the theme, and we chose Nightmare Fuel. And what that is you're supposed to do a set inspired on something that you have a phobia of or something that you are intensely afraid of, right? And for me, for my inspiration, I am intensely afraid of outer space. And only because I know some really freaky things, like how your blood boils in space and how like your insides become your outsides. No one can hear you scream. Like if they was to come to me today and say, like, Sierra, Earth is gone. There is no more Earth. By tomorrow it will be gone. You have to get on this rocket ship. You have to go to outer space. It's the only way we can survive. I would hold on to the grass for dear life and say, go without me. I will die with Earth. I can't do it. I could not go to outer space. I am intensely afraid of outer space. So that is what my set is named after or done after the inspo. My group person, the person that was in this group with me, ended up having to drop out. I'm still going to talk about her, but she is not in the collab. She won't be doing a themed set, and I just wanted to let you know she had personal reasons for dropping out. She had other things to do. So let's get into the set and we'll all talk about it.
We are going to call this set Space Guts because, it's appropriate. And did you know that there are things called zombie stars and there is dead bodies floating in space? Yeah, we're going to get into that. So first I want to talk about this set. I am using that peel off base coat still, and I am not ready with a verdict, so we're going to just, move past that idea. The tips are already applied, and because I have a peel off base coat, I don't want to blend them because I don't want to mess it up. So I'm just using a base coat to make my nail bed blend with that tip. And since we have base coat on the natural nail bed, we can go in with our design that we're going to encapsulate, and we're going to start with guts, right? So I'm using this baby pink and I'm going to roll it out to a really long string, and we are going to string it across 2 nails, and we're just going to make it look like guts, pretty much just floating in space. So because space is like a vacuum, there's no pressure. If your body was to be in space and unprotected, right? That means that your body and all of the fluids in it would start to just kind of expand and go their own ways. And that's where you get these exploding bodies in space from movies. But that's not quite how it would really go. It doesn't happen so fast. Obviously, you have a little bit of oxygen in your blood, so you could survive for about 15 seconds in space. And what happens is, instead of wanting to hold your breath, you don't want all that oxygen floating in your lungs. It would literally tear your lungs apart. So you would want to exhale all that oxygen out and just have the oxygen that's in your blood and stuff. But before you start to pass out at around 10 seconds, your blood and saliva and all the fluids in your body will literally start to boil. An astronaut whose hose came unplugged from the ship ended up actually having this happen. And he said before he passed out, he could feel the fluid and the blood in his tongue start to boil, and it swelled up so big that it literally took 4 days for the swelling to go down and for him to even be able to taste anything. So we went in with Love at First Bite, and we went around the guts with that to create the bloody look that's from our To Die For gel paint collection. Then we did Bump in the White and rolled out a little ball for the eye and some more of that baby pink to create the socket that's floating. And yeah, going in with Love at First Bite around it to make it look like a bloody eye socket. Doing some blue gel paint that is from Savvyland. It's an old gel paint and really watery. I wasn't all that happy with it, but it was good enough to create a tiny little dot for the iris. Going in with the manicure brush, I created the first layer of blood that's supposed to float, and then I realized, Sierra, you're doing clear nails. Why have you not covered your nail bed? My thoughts were, when I started, because I went in with that base gel to even out my nail bed between the nail bed and the tip being on top of it, I wanted that even. I didn't think about it. And then I realized, wait a second, we're doing clear nails. Like, we need acrylic on the nail bed so that it can cover that free edge. I just dyed my hair, and you can see the darkness of the free edge of my natural nails. So I had to go in and cover that up. So I just did a super thin layer from one in the pink, our nude acrylic. And yeah, we're going to finish out the designs that we're going to encapsulate, which we're going to create a tooth. And I'm just using Lemonade, bump in the white. And then I go in with Peach Please because the tooth was looking kind of neon yellow, and I want it to be that more natural nicotine brownish yellow look. So I'm adding a little bit of that nude poison putty into it, which is Peach Please. Now, something that's really cool about 3D art and poison putty, right? Nobody expects it to be totally perfect. As long as you know and you stick with the theme for the design, like just kind of getting it in that general direction of what you're wanting it to look like, people, their brains are going to put it together. I don't think that this really looks like a real tooth floating in space, but because I get it, that generic shape of it, and kind of go in with that red gel paint again, love at first bite, kind of outlining it and creating the shadowing in the top, like it's kind of supposed to be a molar. So I put like 3 lines in the top of it to make that little divot look. Yeah, it definitely resembled a tooth. You could tell it was a tooth floating in space. So we're going in and just blobbing on some more of that red gel paint, and we're going to take a manicure brush and just pat it out a little bit just to make it look like blood splatter floating in space, if that makes sense. So did you know, like I knew that there were black holes, but I did not know that there were white holes. So black holes drag everything into it. And if you get into a black hole, you're never coming out. Nobody knows what happens to what goes into black holes, but we just know that it does not come out, right? Now we're just going in and encapsulating the 3D art that we have put on the nail bed itself. The plan is like encapsulate this, and then we're going to do more art on top. Once we get them all filed and shaped, we're going to do more art, and then it's going to kind of give this layered effect, like you see stuff floating in the background and you see stuff in the foreground, if that makes sense. That's what my plan is at this point. But yeah, a black hole is like, and I guess it actually bends time and space to its will. If you get anywhere near it, it actually bends time and space. I don't know how, I don't know why, it just does, that's what they say. But a white hole actually creates. So a black hole takes things and never gives them back. But a white hole, you can never go back into it. Here is the finished result of the encapsulation. And now we're going to go in with our art. And I do end up base coating these so that our art will stick to it. 3D Poison Putty does not stick to a file buffed surface. It sticks better to a non-porous shiny surface. So I'm just going in with some base gel and base gelling the nails, which actually helps kind of fill in any divots or helps level them out and make them look even smoother. But yeah, nobody knows where stuff comes from that comes out of a white hole. It just kind of creates stuff, I guess. Or maybe whatever goes in the black hole comes out the white hole a billion light years away. I don't know. But whatever comes out can never go back in. You can't get near a white hole, but you can get near a black hole but never come back. Right? Does that make sense? That you can come out of a white hole, but you can never go back in it. You can go in a black hole, but you can never come back. Yeah, whatever. So after curing the base gel, we're going in and we're going to create this alien. I looked online for like little alien heads and stuff to see, and I really liked that one that had like the bigger brain looking head, like it was big on top, and the small facial features, but it had black eyes. So that's kind of what I'm going for as far as the shape of the head, and then the black eyes. And then I decided that I wanted a big mouth full of teeth. This is going to be kind of like an alien civilization sending their own people into space. And then obviously something goes very wrong because the helmet cracks and all the guts end up, like the head's detached from the body. You don't know where the body is. And all of the guts and stuff are just floating in space. Now, it doesn't have to be this alien's guts, but it could be like the other people from the ship. That's what was in my head. Now, I kind of wish before I did the clear acrylic, that I would have drawn like a planet in the background just so you could like see like planets. You know what I mean? Like I kind of wish I would have done a planet in the background. I'm kind of sad that I didn't, but it's still cool. I still like this design. So I mixed in Grave Affair and the Lanky Bones, which is a white gel paint from the To Die For gel paint collection. And created this kind of skin tone color for the head, right? And then I'm just going to go in and create all the features, which those two mixed together. Peach Please ended up actually going in like as the skin to create like the cheekbones and the eyelids and stuff. You're going to see me go in with Peach Please, but it actually blended in with the gel paint that I made like perfect. And I didn't even try. Like I never looked at Peach Please to try to create that. So yeah, I got really lucky. We're just going in with coal black heart and doing the little dots for the eyes and patting them out to make them look, what is that look? Cat eyes. Give her the cat eyes look. And if you look at the portions, the eyes are really big for that style of face. So that's what I was going for, really big eyes. And I'm just using water and a tiny little brush to pat it out into the design that I want. Do not use acetone with poison putty. It will destroy your design. It will eat it up. Just use a little bit of water on a nice little art brush and it will work perfect for you. You can pat designs out very easy just using water. So did you know that there are zombie stars? Yeah, so listen, if a star dies, right, and it dies, it's dead, it's dead, the star is dead, no longer flaming. If it is near another star, close enough near another star, then it can actually, when it dies, it draws in the space around it. And like the space moves slow, right? So as it's drawing in the space around it, the star that's near it might not be that near. But as that star's flames come towards the star that died, right? The star finally dies out. There is no more, but because space is a vacuum, anything that was drawing near it is still drawing near it. So no matter how long it takes for the other star's flames to get to it, once it gets to it, it could bring it back to life. And there are stars that are actually big enough, if they are big enough, they can actually feed off of stars around them and become bigger and brighter. They can kill other stars. They can take stars' flame. I mean, I don't know what you would call it, but they could take all their energy. And yeah, there are life-sucking stars out there. They're called zombie stars. That is really cool to me. And like I said, we're just going in with Peach Please, and I am creating this kind of forehead and eyelid situation, not eyelids that go over the black eyes. I don't want them to go over it, but I do want them to kind of meet up to the top of the eye. And then I put in this big dot of Peach Please, and I'm just kind of blending it around the edges. But then I'm going to go into the center of it and create a big hole for the mouth. Yeah. I love this design. I'm kind of sad that I did the helmet because this would have been a really cool alien if I would have actually finished out a whole body. One of these days I'm going to have to do a creepy monster and do like the whole body and stuff with the 3D art because this would have been really cool. I feel like it did turn out cool, but I think to do like a whole thing would have been really cool. And I do not have silver poison putty. So what I'm going to do to create the helmet is I'm going to go in with white and I'm going to create this circular outline for the head. And that is going to be like the helmet itself. And then we're going to go in with our clear poison putty and create the glass. But I'm going to actually be painting all of it with gel paints to make the glass look kind of blue and make the helmet itself look silver. We are going to be going in with gel paints. So if you wonder why it looks so weird at first, that is why I just don't have those colors to create it. So we're just going to create it with white. So listen, doing my research, right? I found out that actually if your suit rips, your body does not get ripped out through the suit. I always thought that because of movies. But no, your your body will stay in the suit. And if you die, it does decompose a little bit, but it will pretty much remain the same, just kind of dehydrated meat a little bit, right? So the thing is, though, that black holes, you cannot see them. Like, you cannot see them. So if you're out in space, just kind of, going along, and you could actually end up going into a black hole on accident. You cannot see it. And if a human body gets near a black hole, it literally turns it into spaghetti. So my fear of my body getting ripped out of a rocket ship is not real. It wouldn't happen, right? The pressure in space does not cause, like if you was to get a small hole in the spaceship, everybody wouldn't just get sucked out the hole. That's not true because the pressure in space does not allow for that. But if you get near a black hole, you get turned to spaghetti, and it's something that you can't even see coming, right? That's still scary. So one of my fears was kind of assuaged, but then I now have a new fear unlocked. That's great, right? So we cured that white that's going to be the helmet, and I kind of padded it out to be kind of like a flat thing that angles in towards the head because a helmet is round, and I kind of wanted to give it that round effect. So I kind of patted it a little bit, and now I'm taking our clear poison putty, and I'm going to roll this out and apply it to, which I already cured the white for the helmet. I'm going to apply this rolled out piece of clear poison putty, and I am going to string that around that white helmet, and then I am going to use my silicone tool to put it in towards the inside of the head and use my finger as the outside to kind of flatten it. I'm using it like how you would kind of do your crust of your pizza, right? Trying to build that up. So I'm using my silicone tool as I strung it around. I'm using the tool to attach it. And then I'm going to place the tool on the inside of the glass, because that's what this is going to be. And then I'm going to use my finger on the outside. Here you go. And just doing this pinching motion to make it look like it is actually glass that's coming up and around the face. But it's going to be broken glass. And then obviously once I'm done getting this pinching motion done and I get that look of this helmet and this round glass shape, I am going to cure this, and then we're going to move forward. So one cool thing that I learned doing research for this video, because obviously I don't know these facts, I end up doing research for the video so I can learn things and then we can all kind of find out cool things together. Astrophobia is the fear of space. I did not know that. So I guess I technically have astrophobia. So that was one really cool thing that I thought I would share with you guys, because I did not realize that there was a name for this phobia. Now, we're going in with silver gel paint, and I'm going around that white, just the white, not the glass. We're going to go in with a jelly blue, and we are actually going to paint the clear poison putty that we used to make that glass. We're going to paint it a clear blue, so it gives it more of a glass look, because you can't really see it. If you look at it now, it's kind of like, what is that? What is that? Is it a bonnet? What is it? So I go in with a jelly blue to create the glass effect. And just going around the white poison putty, going on the white poison putty, it didn't feel good enough. Looking at it head on, it didn't really look like a helmet. So I ended up going back in and kind of doing this oblong oval shape on top of it, and kind of stretching it out a little bit just to make it look like, you see how it kind of goes up and around the top a little bit more than what that poison putty that I put on there was. Yeah, if that makes sense. I kind of elongated the helmet with that silver on top, if that makes sense. And then, yeah, we're going to go in with the blue. We're going to create the glass. And then we're going to go in with our red gel paint, Love at First Bite, and kind of dot the glass with the red and create that bloody effect look. Like you can tell that it was kind of like a crash or something. Like something happened. And yeah, so there's going to be blood on the broken glass. And we're going to create the mouth, which is going to be a mouth full of teeth, because this is kind of like an alien. One thing I didn't want to do, I didn't really want to do a human face, because I was scared I really couldn't get that the likeness to be good. I was scared to do a human face. So that's why I chose to kind of do this alien face, because aliens can kind of be whatever. And I felt like I couldn't fail. like it was a safer choice. So it was kind of like cheat mode, I feel like. Now we're going to go in and we are going to fill in around the inside of the helmet with black, because we want it to look like, it's dark in there. You're not going to be able to see all that stuff. So yeah, we're just going in and painting the inside black around the head so it looks like it's dark in there. And here the teeth are super simple. We're going to go in with a little bit of white gel paint, bump in the white, Lanky Bones. Bump in the white is our Poison Putty white. Lanky Bones is our white gel paint. So we're just going in with little dots and kind of going around that hole with them, so that it looks like it's just a bunch of teeth. It would have been cool if it would have been bigger. I could have done Poison Putty for the teeth and made them look, like they were sharp and coming out, but that's a really tiny hole. It wasn't happening. I know that it looks big on the video. It kind of looks big because there's a lot of details there, but if you look at this is just a nail and it fit all on inside the confines of the nail. So in reality, this little alien head is really tiny. So we're done with the design and we're just going to go in with blood splatter again. And this is going to be a top layer of blood splatter. So you're going to see this closer to you than you are seeing the blood splatter in the background. That's what I was hoping would make out the idea that stuff is floating in space. Using this blood in different levels would kind of give that idea of there's stuff in the background floating, if that makes sense. So, all right, I'm patting out the ends. I don't want the shape of the nails to get messed up. But you're going to see me start to roll out some white Poison Putty. And I realized, wait, hold on. We got to matte top coat the nails. And I'm going to show you in the end why I chose to matte top coat the nails and then go on top of that with more nail art designs. It will make sense once I get through the matte top coat and you see what's going on. But yeah, we're going to avoid the space guy and the helmet and stuff. And we're just going to top coat the nails themselves. So, all right, this is the part of the video where I would normally spotlight an artist, but since the person that was in my group, my partner, she ended up having personal reasons of dropping out. Her name is Hey V, and if you want to go check her out, go ahead, but she won't be making a collab video, like I said. I'm the only other person in the group to spotlight, and I just don't want to spotlight myself. So I am me, you know me, hey. But I guess there won't be too much of a spotlight in this video. I'm leaving all the links to all the ladies in the collab, so you guys can just go check everybody out. Everything's down in the description, so go check them out. They're amazing women. See what they chose to do for Nightmare Fuel. I let the other girl choose because she is new and I've done this before. I let her choose the theme and she wanted Nightmare Fuel to be the theme, just phobias and stuff, I guess. So yeah, she chose it and then she's not here. So sorry. It's not my fault. It's not on me this time. Now we top coated the nails matte and I'm going in and applying shiny top coat to the helmet because I figure a helmet would be shiny, right? And then I'm going in just making the glass shiny, the mouth shiny, and yeah, we'll be fully done with our alien crash guy. Now we're going to go in with some more Poison Putty nail art. This is the end. This is the foreground of the design. This is what's going to be the closest to us floating in space. And what's really cool, what I chose to do was I'm going to go in, create the Poison Putty designs. We're going to go in, we're going to make this finger, we're going to make some more eyeballs, we're going to make a tongue with a piercing, we're going to do some skin that had stitches floating, and then we're going to do some maggots, because I figure, right, the spaceship was like this spaceship that's been out there forever or something, and stuff is like evil and rotting on it. So the maggots are out in space. And the alien, he's going to have green slime come out of his mouth. It's going to be one of the last things that I go to do. And what I end up doing is I go around everything with like blood, like I do, around the eyeball socket. It's going to have a little bit of blood. And then we're going to do more blood splatter around all of our 3D art. We're going to go in with another layer of blood splatter. But this blood splatter is going to stay shiny. So everything in the background is going to look blurry and matte, but everything in the foreground, if it is blood or slime from the saliva of the alien, it kind of reminds me like he was eating these body parts, right? Because when the slime is coming out of his mouth and then you see the slime on some of the body parts, you're like, wow, was that his spit? Was he eating this stuff? That's kind of what it made me think. And I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. Let's go with that. He was just munching on these body parts. But yeah, everything that is bloody on this last layer will remain shiny so that it looks like it is closer to us. I felt like that would be a good idea. Yeah, we're just going in, doing more guts. We're gonna do it all. And I hope you guys love this. This is very different. This made me, because one question that gets asked in the group every week once we do our set and post it, there's a question asked to all of us. What did we try to do that was new and different, because we're supposed to be challenging ourselves to do new things? And what was the hardest part about it for us? So what I was trying to do was to do something a little bit more realistic than cartoonish stuff, and just doing gel painted nail art. Like the last set that I did was all just hand drawn nail art. And this time I wanted to do something a little bit more realistic and more full, and not do any kind of hand-drawn nail art. I wanted it all to be just 3D stuff, right? And I wanted it to be realistic. That was what I was challenging myself to do. And the most challenging part about it was trying to make things look realistic. This was a fail for me. It turned out to look like Mars Attacks meets Space Junk meets cartoon features. Yeah, I love it. It's cool. It's different. I wanted it to be different, but I don't feel like I achieved that realism type thing, right? It didn't work for me. So this was a win and a fail at the same time. So our last cool little fact, right? Our sun is a very high energized particle. It sometimes creates solar flares, and sometimes the solar flares are small, not a big deal. But in 1859, there was a solar flare that was so big that it caused a geometric event, and it created geomagnetic storms. And that was before technology, so it wasn't a big issue. But if there was a big enough solar flare, which it could happen at any time, it really is like not a huge thing for this to happen. It'd just be a bigger one than what is normal. But if that was to happen now, right? If it had a huge solar flare, then these geomagnetic storms could end up, knocking out our power, our communications. But if it knocked out our power and communications, it could literally take our internet out for a couple months. It could destroy our internet. Isn't that crazy? Like, not only would our communications, like our phones and stuff, be out for days, but the Wi-Fi, all those subscriptions, the internet, all of it just gone for months. Like zero communications for days, and a lack of a lot of communication for months. No Instagram, no TikTok. What would people do? I feel like people would finally get outside and smell the grass. They would go do some things with their families, like not be sitting here scrolling on their phones all day long. So I don't think a huge solar flare with a geomagnetic storm that would happen on Earth that would kind of mess up with our stuff, I don't think it's a bad thing. It could be kind of cool, if it just happened one time, send us back to the Stone Ages. Navigation wouldn't work. You wouldn't be able to just go to Google Maps. Just think about the implications of that. It's kind of neat. I think it's kind of neat. So, and it's not like this weird thing that just could never happen, or it's not like this floating planet out in space that's like rocketing towards us at 100 miles a minute, but it's like 5 billion light years away. So it's going to take 3 billion years for it to finally hit Earth and take us out. Like, it's not one of those things. It's one of those, like, the solar flares happen all the time. This is just one that needs to be big enough to mess with the magnetic field of Earth and all of our satellites that are floating out in space. All right, so we're going in with Beetle's neon green gel polish, and I'm creating the slime effect. Slime a little bit on the intestines. So it could have been intestinal fluids possibly, or saliva from the alien eating this stuff. Yeah, and then we're gonna go in and we're gonna create these little maggots that are floating around stuff, because these were dirty aliens before the ship crashed. Like, maybe it was a good thing that their ship crashed, because if they would have ended up on Earth, it could have been a problem. And we're just going in and we are going to make this slime shiny. I want the slime to stand out on top of that matte design. The poison putty dries or cures matte looking, so I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm leaving all of the poison putty alone. I'm not going to make that shiny. I just want the slime and the blood to look shiny, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I actually end up mixing some of that neon green with some top coat just to make it a little bit slimier looking. It just looked really bright green and you couldn't see through it. And I figure if it is saliva or gut intestinal juice, that it would be kind of like see-through. It wouldn't be so opaque. So that's what I did. I mixed some shiny top coat. I mixed the shiny top coat with that neon green just to make it a little bit more transparent. And then here we're just going in with our bump in the white and rolling it out just a little bit to create these little oblong worms or maggots, or fruit flies, like the baby fruit flies. That's what we could call it. We could call it baby fruit flies because I hate the word maggot. But then we're going to go in with some Grave Affair and make little ridge looking things. Like, this is just what's going to make the little ridges, kind of. And I'm going to go in, I already cured these little fruit fly, or no, I didn't actually. That's why it's still moving around. But I end up going in with a little bit of like acetone on a brush and kind of blending out those lines so that they're not such a strong line. And it kind of dirties it up a little bit so it's not so bright white, if that makes sense. And I'm kind of patting it onto the mat a little bit so that it's holding on better. And yeah, we're going in over that top bit of blood splatter with some shiny top coat and making it kind of look raised up, like this is the part that's kind of floating closer to our face. You know, you get to see the shininess of it. And we're going to top coat over top of the slime to make that slime look, you know, like it's raised up a little bit and it's floating closer to our face. I just wanted it to look as disgusting as possible, if that makes sense. And we are done. I love you guys. Tell me what you think about this theme, about my phobia that I found out I have. Well, the name of it. I knew I had the phobia, but I didn't know it had a name. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think this is realistic? Do you think it's worth being scared of? Do you like the design? It's different. I definitely had to stretch my mind to figure out how to come up with fear of space set of nails. How do you turn the fear of space into a set of nails? This was the only way I could think to do it. So I love you guys, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Yeah, tell me what you think. I love you. Bye. And if you guys are interested in any of the products used here today, like our poison putty or our gel paints or acrylics, you guys can go to criminalclaws.com to shop and check out the site, see what all is around. If you guys are interested in joining a Spotlight collab, we have one coming up in May. You guys can DM the Spotlight collab challenge. I'm going to leave all the links below. I love you guys again.